All right, welcome back to another build log on the Polar Lights 1000 USS Voyager. I am hand holding the camera for this one because I'm going to need to move around a little bit rather than have it stationary, so apologize for a bit of the shakiness. I am just about ready to seal up the engineering hull and attach the lower part of the saucer, but before I did, I wanted to go through and talk about how I've done all the wiring. So in a previous video, you saw all of this back here as just kind of a mess. What I did is I went through and using the wiring diagram that I set up before I started this project, I went ahead and started wiring everything up. So I color coded the wires so I know pretty much what goes with what circuit. Anything that comes out of the blue wire with my little tape tags here is going to be one of the nav lights. So in this case, all the reds are hooked up to the reds. All of the blues are hooked up to the blues. And there should be another blue one in here somewhere. Oh, there we go. So 3 blues. Those will all end up those all end up set up in series and then hooked up to the main blinky wire in parallel. It's going to be the blue wire on the main control board. For the yellow wires, these are basically all of the solid red LEDs, one each on the nacelles, and then 2 each on the actual impulse engines. Along with that, I've also been kind of setting up the 3 LED strip lighting circuits. So there's one that runs up the middle. It's this shuttle bay here that goes right to the deflector. That will end up going to basically everything that runs along the upper saucer. And then there's 2 that run left and right. So obviously the one here on the right hooks up to the nacelle here, and then the one on the left hooks up to the nacelle over here, and then that will run through the actually, well, first things first, it'll actually run through these downward facing strips here. I include these small strips here, here, and here because there are windows along these panels and there's windows here. I want to make sure everything gets lit nice and evenly. Plus, because the angle of the hull, that's going to kind of point that way. That's going to point that way, and the other's going to point down. So, good amount of light going on in the bottom part of the ship. So the way I'm going to do this is, well, first things first, I start gluing all of this stuff together. I have to be fairly quick about it because what's going to happen is basically I'm going to glue the shuttle bay door in place here. And then very quickly, shuttle bay door, there we go. I was wondering where that went. Shuttle bay door is going to sit right here, and then the top parts of the engineering hull have to go around it. But I also have to glue the top part, or sorry, the bottom part of the saucer in place because of the hooks here on the bottom. I don't want to have to try and finagle that apart the second time that I try and like reglue everything. So it's just all going to go together really, really quickly. For this one, this will be relatively straightforward. Just little dots of glue there. I'll probably put a little extra thin there in the back. Also, worth noting, Tamiya extra thin, and Tamiya not so extra thin. Great for having around and great for kind of structural stuff. So, like as an example, I'll use just a little bit of the good stuff here in the holes to fill those in, and actually melt the plastic together. Same for the large structural pieces here, 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 and here, and for the holes here and here. One thing I like to do for anything that has that kind of pack and hole design is just using kind of like in this case, a diamond needle file. I will actually drill those out a little bit just to give me a little bit of room to kind of position things. So that'll be next. Also, one other thing, I did set up the power here, just a standard barrel 12 volt connector with some wires coming off of this. So this will ultimately end up powering or be wired to the LEDs as well as the main circuit board when I get that far. But this is kind of the setup that I've got here. And yeah, next up will be actually gluing all of this stuff together and then going out and starting to finalize all the wiring. Then we get to do testing, see if anything broke, and fix it. Uh, One other thing, you'll notice that I have strategically painted some of the areas that are going to be the final hull color. This is to make it a little bit easier on myself from a masking perspective later on. So, like as an example, here in the back, I already have this part painted the color that I wanted to. I'll do detail painting with, a little bit of gray there on the shuttle bay and like some of the side panels. Also, for the actual engineering hull themselves, these parts here, which are going to be exposed, and then the shuttle base that's in front of that, those are also painted the main hull color, just so I can pretty much just mask that entire thing off when I'm giving that final coat of paint. It'll make it a little bit easier to, like I said, go through painting and masking and everything else. I've done something similar up front here. All of this has been painted the final hull color, so that way I can just tape it over, and when I end up mounting the deflector, that'll go in there too. So I already have. It's kind of flipping over here. I already have the neck in the process of drying, connected to the kind of main saucer. That'll go on next once I have all the wiring and stuff figured out. I'll do a test to see if there's any light leaks, and then from there, well, we'll figure out what happens next. So yeah, this is where I'm at. Making good progress so far. Hopefully everything lights up the way that it's supposed to, and if not, well, we'll see what happens next. So thanks for watching. Look forward for part 4, 5, whatever I'm on. Yeah, talk to you guys later.